Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today, and today I'm going to be showing you an Unreal tutorial on how to create and design a opening screen for your game. So the first thing, I have my project all pulled up. It's completely new, there's nothing in it, and I'm going to be in content making a new folder. So, gonna make a new folder, and we're going to call it UI for user interface. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to make two more folders in here as well. I'm going to make a fonts folder, and I'm going to make an images folder. And this isn't necessary, but I just like to keep things super organized, super together, so that, as the game progresses and development progresses and you have a bunch of HUDs and a bunch of different things going on, you can try to keep things as categorized as possible and be as efficient as you can. So here we have our fonts, our images, and the next thing that we need is to create a user interface HUD. So we're going to scroll down, we're going to click on widget blueprint, and we are going to name this widget blueprint opening screen, and open that up. And so as of right now, this is what our opening screen looks like. There's just a canvas panel, there's nothing in it, it's completely see-through, and of course we want to change that. So to make an eye-grabbing opening screen, we're going to want images, buttons, different letters, some really eye-grabbing stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and I'm going to search on the web if I could close this, going to search on the web for some fonts that I could use. And so I'm going to say that the game I'm going to be making for this tutorial is going to be the opening screen for a horror game. So I'm going to go on to a really helpful website called DaFont. It has so many fonts, and there's this really nice sort of catalog, I guess I would call it, up here of all these different types to really narrow your search down, because they have so many fonts it would take you like a full day to see them all. So actually, conveniently enough, if we go down here on the fancy, we see that there's a horror category. So I'm going to click on that, and I can scroll through and see all these different horror fonts, and all these fonts are completely free and totally useful. And so the one I particularly like, let's see, it's the one here called Who Asks Satan, and all I need to do to get this font is click download. And you'll see I have the zip file right there. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And as we can see, there's a little readme, and that's just basically something from the developer that's like, please don't rename, please don't edit the font. And then the actual font is here in the .ttf. So what we're going to do, that is what we want to import into our game. So we're going to open our fonts folder. And also I'm going to, for the purpose of being able to find it a bit easier, I'm going to take that Who Asks Satan folder and I'm just going to put it right on my desktop. So I'm going to, now that I'm in the fonts folder, import that. So if I can go to my desktop, and I can see Who Asks Satan, and there's a little TTF, and I'm going to open that up. And yes. And so here we can see we have the font, all nice and saved in our font folder. And another thing that we want to make a really eye-catching opening screen is a nice background image, something that really fits the theme of our game, something that will work well, something that will creep people out, something that will intrigue people to want to play more. So I'm going to go over to Google search, and I just searched scary background, and this was one that I really liked. There's a ton here. You could make a completely different search, get different things, but this just works for me, so I'm going to stick with that. So as you can see, I already dragged that image down here on my desktop. And so, same thing, I'm going to go to Images, Import, Desktop, and the title of the photo is Max Res Default. And that works for me. Sometimes if you have a ton of images that you want to put into your game, you want to, name them something more specific or rename them so that they're more organized. I'm just going to keep it max res default as it is now because I will only be using this image for the tutorial. So here we go, back to UI, we have our font, we have our images, and now let's head back to our opening screen. And here it is. So the first thing that we want to do is we're going to be taking an image and we're going to be dragging it in. And as you can see, that is much too tiny compared to the width and length of the screen. So we're just going to take that and expand it out so that it completely fills that HUD. There we go. This would be a lot easier if I had a mouse. Here we go. Okay, and so now that that's there, I'm going to go on ahead and anchor that image to the full scale of the screen. And so now it's a nice white background, there's something there, but it's still not the image. So I'm going to go to Appearance over here in Details, I'm going to expand Brush, and we can see this little image, and I have nothing selected right now, and so all I need to do to select that image is come to Assets, and I should be able to search Max Res Default. There it is. Click on that, and there we have it. There's our background image. Easy as that. And so the next thing we want to do, that's a nice background image, but in order for someone to see the title of the game or the buttons or anything, we're going to need some text. So I go back over to the palette and scroll down, and I find myself some text. And let's call the game something, how about Inside, that is not how you spell it, Inside Out. Here we go. It's actually, I think that's the title of a children's film, but we'll keep it for now. So, I enter that into the context, into the little text box. We can see that it's there. But that is not the scariest font I've ever seen. That's not scary letters. So what we're going to do is we are going to go down. If I could actually, no, it's probably where I was. The text. Here we go, font. So our font, it is Roboto right now. By default, it will always be Roboto, but because we went ahead and downloaded font, when I drop down this, we can see that we have the Who Asked Satan font that we saved into our folder. So click on that, and we can see that it is somewhat scarier, but still very small. So we can change that by changing the size, and let's go, I think 76 is a good number. Nope, not good enough. How about 200? There we go. Okay, so that looks a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that, let's see, top of the screen. There we go. And it looks nice, it's better, it's in a better font, but it's also white, which very much contrasts with the entire background. So we can change the color of this font by going to Appearance, and we have Color and Opacity. Open that up, and let's see, maybe like a nice brown would work. If I could. Oof, there we go. Okay, make that a bit darker. So it's still dark, it's still spooky, still kind of fits the tree foresty theme, and it also stands out against the completely background, but it also blends in. So I am going to click OK, and there we have it. We have a background image, we have some nice font with the title, but as of right now, this screen isn't at all interactive, it's not functional, so what we need to make it functional are some buttons. So I am going to be putting some buttons in. Let's have about 3. I think 3 is a good number. Yeah, Okay, so these buttons can be in blueprints aligned to, you can make them do anything, you can make them play levels, you can make them quit the game or play an animation, but, how's anyone going to know that? And so what we need to do is label these buttons. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to make things a bit easier, is rename buttons so that I can tell what I'm clicking on when I'm trying to mess with it in the hierarchy. So this is going to be the play button that plays the game. This is going to be, let's have an animation. Let's have a credits button. So if you perchance wanted to see the credits on the home screen, you can just click the button and the animation will play. And here, let's make this the quit button, which would just exit the game. There we go. Okay, so now they're named. It's going to make things easier in the hierarchy. And so what we want to do is we're going to grab some text and we're going to put it on these buttons. So we're going to grab the text from the palette and hover it over to the play button in the hierarchy, and you can see it. No. There we go. Okay. So I don't know what this is. Can I just? Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and delete that. Okay. So once you drag it, apparently I didn't do that right at first, but once you drag that text onto that play button, it will have a child, which is the text block. As you can see, it's pretty much in line with the button. We can make the button bigger to be able to fit that text more nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If I can go to the button. And I'm going to play around with the sizing so that, and once we see, yeah, now it lines up really well. I'm going to make it a bit thicker too. There we go. And so I am going to be going back to the text and just labeling it as what the button's function is. So this button will be called play. Simple as that. And we can also do what we did before, which is, because like I said, these are, buttons, they're going to work, but once again, we got to think of the whole theme of what we're going for here. So I'm going to actually change them to the same font that was in. I'm going to make this size 76. Yep, and there we go. And so, sorry about that. So if I go back to the inside out, I can see that the color is there. And what I really want to do is copy the color from the inside out text to fit the play text. So all I have to do is go to this little hex linear here, do that, Command C, copy that, cancel, and then go back to the text play. And all I have to do is go to where the color and opacity is, open that up, and I don't even need the other box. All I have to do is insert here and paste and click away from it, and it automatically knows what I'm talking about. So it inherits that color, we press OK, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the other buttons. Let's make them a bit bigger. I'm not going to be consistent with their size. They're all going to be relatively the same size, but I'm not going to go as far as to copy paste, and I will show you why. Ooh, that one's a bit big. Show you why in a minute. So same thing. Let's see if I can get it right this time. Drag the text to credits button. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Go to that, and that is the credits button. So that text is going to be reading credits. Go back. Satan, size 76. And back to the color. Just change that. Make it all identical. And then finally our quit button. And like I said before, you can have a ton of different buttons, whatever really suits the needs of your game. You could even have just the play and the quit. There's no need for an animation button, but whatever you feel is appropriate for your home screen can be included on there. So I'm going to drag that text down to the quit button, and there we go. So we go to that text and do the same thing that we've been doing to the other ones. And quit. make it Satan font, size 76, and the color. And there we go. So now I have 3 buttons, although not completely the right size. But you'll notice, you know, even though I was consistent with the font, it doesn't really look too great. And I think that's because of the huge chunks of gray that these buttons automatically produce. And so my idea here is I'm going to take these buttons and first I'm going to line them up a little bit nicer because they're kind of just floating in the middle of the screen now. So I'm going to try to drag them to the bottom, try to make them nice and symmetrical. And same with the quit button, just drag that to the bottom right. And it looks better now that they're not floating in the middle, but we still have to get rid of those huge gray boxes. So I'm going to go to the play button, and that one actually seems to be a bit thinner than the other buttons, so I'm going to make it a bit wider. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and set its opacity. So we can do this. I might have already gone past it. Or actually, no, I believe it's something I have to do within the text. Okay. Maybe not. No, I believe it is something I have to do within the button. Hold on. So, in appearance, yeah, here we go. Okay. So the appearance, we're going to open the background because that is big gray block right there. And so we want to make this totally see-through. So the button will still be there, we just won't be able to see it. It'll look a lot nicer on our screen. So we're going to go, these are all color values, and then the A value here is the opacity value. So we're just going to grab that, and we're going to bring it down. And we can see it's fading away, and then it's completely gone. So we have a nice, completely transparent play button, which looks a lot better than either this one or this one does right now. So we're just going to go ahead, do the same for the buttons. Going to open the background and shrink the opacity down, and go to the quit button and shrink the opacity down. Alright, there we go. And so now we have our title, we have our play, our credits, and our quit button. So we have a title that you can click on, a title that we'll be able to do for different things. But as of right now, these buttons are not functional. They don't do anything. So what we want to do is we want to, you know, go ahead and make these buttons so when you click play, it'll play. When you click credits, an animation will roll. And when you click quit, it'll quit. So we're going to go to these buttons, and we're going to start off with the play button. And we're going to scroll all the way down in details. And you'll see we have these events. We have on clicked, on pressed, released, on hovered. And so what you can do is, you know, at any point, if you want something to happen when it's pressed or released, and at any point in your game, couldn't just be the home screen, you can click these events. And for now, we're going to be using on clicked. And they will automatically create this little thing in your event graph, which is going to make you be able to have something happen when you click that button. So we're going to drag away from here, and simple as it is, we're going to be searching for function open level. Here we go. And so when that button is clicked, it will open the level now, and I don't believe I actually have a level. This is a completely new project that I opened for the purposes of this tutorial, so I'm just going to call it level 1. And, you know, whatever your level would be, your first level, I guess, or your entire game that you would like to have opened, that is where you would enter that name. And so from here, we are going to drag this and have function remove from parent. Remove from parent. Here we go. Nice widget right there. And then we are going to get these big text boxes popping everywhere. So we have a set mouse cursor. How do I? Let's just have a set. Can I just do that? Set Okay, I think I might be getting confused here. So, I can't really find it right now. That there is a set that I would want to do from this widget, and then we would just create the target as getPlayerController and have the getPlayerController return the value to set. I apparently am not good enough to have that happen right now. So, and then we're going to move to our credits button, and our credits button is going to do the same thing. We're going, well, not do the same thing, but it's going to do an on-clicked event that we're going to want to set up for it. So on-clicked, when the credits button is on-clicked, we're going to want to play some kind of animation. So we are going to do exactly that, drag off, and we're going to search for function play animation. Here we go. And so I also, like I said before, I do not have an animation in this project. I created this solely for the purpose of showing you guys, but if we did have an animation, we would drag off from here. And we would enter the name of that animation in here. But like I said, I can't really show you guys because I do not have an animation for this level. But if you did have a credit animation, you would just link it up here. And then, so finally, we have our quit button, which is what I would say the easiest of the three. So we're going to do the same thing. Going to go to events, going to go to on-clicked. I'm going to separate these a little bit so that they're easier. Going to drag off from here. And we're just going to search, simple as it is, for function quit game. And there we go. That's really all it needs. So yeah, this has been my tutorial. It's a nice, simple little thing. Obviously, they can be a lot more convoluted than this, depending on what you want your game to look like or what you want the menu to offer. But this is pretty much how it gets done. So thank you for joining me in my tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.